what do you have here? Swift explores expansion of network into the digital asset market. Who would have thought? Banking cooperative Swift, and if you're not aware who Swift is, they pretty much tie every organization, every institution, from the messaging standpoint, into the US dollar and into the banking system. And Banking cooperative Swift is set to explore how it can support interoperability and the development of the tokenized asset market, working in conjunction with Clearstream, Northern Trust, Settle, and other market participants. Absolutely enormous, obviously, but I am not surprised whatsoever. I'm sure that many of you are not. It's just one more domino falling, and which we know is the Internet of Value that will be coming. Legacy organizations and institutions are at the point now where they understand very much so that they have to adapt or they will die. And let's read a little bit into this right now, because we've talked about valuations in crypto. We've talked about all sorts of different things. This was interesting to me. Digital assets expected to accelerate rapidly in the coming years. By some estimates, volumes with digital assets could reach some $24 trillion by 2027. And I would be hesitant to say, if we start seeing, not hesitant to say, I should say, if we start seeing real regulation and real clarity across the board, and ISO 20022 is full fruition 2025 without any sort of delays or anything, the utility that is going to be utilized from the payments, the digital assets that can be interoperating with and having the most utility into the current payment systems that are utilized globally, I think $24 trillion is a freaking drop in the pan. All right, but for its part, Swift is exploring how it can improve interoperability between participants and systems during the transactional life cycle of tokenized assets. To this end, the messaging platform plans a series of experiments in Q1 of next year on issuance, delivery versus payment, and redemption processes needed to support currencies. CBDCs included, says Thomas Zach, Chief Innovation Officer at Swift. If you're not aware, Swift obviously has 11,000 institutions, more than 200 countries, oversight by the central banks globally. So for this pilot program, Clearstream and Northern Trust, alongside other industry players, will represent key parts of tokenized and traditional asset ecosystems, including securities market infrastructures, local custodians, and global custodians, multiple tokenization platforms, and various cash leg payment types. Well, I know one asset that can interoperate between cash leg payment types. That asset is obviously XRP. So, interestingly enough, Settle is included in this. SETL, Settle. We'll go back to this, the Swift updates in a second here. Now, if you're not aware, Settle, back in February of this year, hired Ripple's global head of banking to lead their payments business. Chief engineer, this is Anthony Culligan in conversation with Robin Almont. This is IBS podcast. This is Marjan Delatinne, and she joined Settle as the head of payments. Joining Settle, having most recently served as global head of banking at Ripple, bringing with her a wealth of experience. Now, this is also interesting. Previously, she was a senior business developer at Swift. So let's take a look at this, at Marjan's career path here. 8 years and 9 months, head of business development, payments market initiatives. Earlier, head of business development. Then she was the business director of Swift GPI. Literally, Swift GPI is the initiative at Swift that after Bob Way and other individuals at Ripple had a meeting with Swift, I believe it was with Mr. LeBrant, Swift went back and copied over the X-Current template, and this is what we now see as Swift GPI. So Marjan was the business director of Swift GPI. Took a little bit of a break, about 2.5 months. Went directly to Ripple as global head of banking. And now, managing director of payments at Settle. Well, Swift is exploring expansion of their network into the digital asset market by also facilitating integrations with Settle. We can also look at, Standard Chartered tying up with Northern Trust, who we've seen is also an initiative in SWIFT's mechanisms for dealing in tokenization. Now, this was a year ago. This was December 10th, 2020. Standard Chartered, as we know, is RippleNet. Ties a knot with Northern Trust to launch a crypto custodian, which is called Zodia, for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. You can check out Zodia here at Zodia.io. Even more so, we can see some of the banking institutions that did the first funding rounds for something like R3. And we see Northern Trust here again. We do know that R3 and R3's corda settler deal in a couple of different digital assets now. I believe Zinfin, XRP, there's about two. And then Swift GPI is also corda settler enabled. Not interfacing with interoperability mechanisms, at least as far as what we've seen. GPI and the XRP network facilitate different pathways within corda settler as far as what's been publicly shown. But it's again interesting. And we can see Clearstream once again tying into R3 corda as well, because Clearstream's parent company is Deutsche Börse. So I don't know. I really like paying attention to rhetoric. Swift rhetoric, years of rhetoric, nonsensical rhetoric, when we all know this is going in one direction and one direction only. It's the tokenization of everything. Interoperability across the board, the Internet of Value, the assets that can operate best with the most utility within that Internet of Value are going to completely dwarf any sort of value mechanisms we've ever seen in the history of mankind, in my opinion. XRP is one of those assets that I believe can facilitate use cases and value within the Internet of Value. Interledger Protocol comes to mind. R3 Corda comes to mind. Interesting to see all of the moves being made across the board. You could talk about Quant and Overledger for interoperability. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. And the writing has been on the wall for years now. That writing does not go away. That writing gets stronger and stronger until it's too late for the every man and every woman and every whatever you identify yourself as to be able to participate in the financial revolution that is very, very clearly upon us. It's not too much time now. It may seem like it's taking forever, but utility will flourish. They just want to make sure that they have these legacy institutions want to make sure that they have their seat at the table before it happens, because they know if they don't have that seat, they will die. They will be relegated into absolute nothingness. So I hope you guys are enjoying your day, your morning, your afternoon, your evening, wherever you may happen to be. And I hope you have a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. And whatever you celebrate, I hope that you celebrate it well and in good health with you, your friends, and your family. I love all of you guys. Thank you guys for all of the support that you have given me over the past 3.5, 4 years. It means more than I can ever say, more than I can ever pay back in this space. All that I want to say is pay attention. We were right. We are going to continue to be right in this space. And if you get nervous and you get overwhelmed in this market, sometimes it makes sense just to step back, look at the bigger picture, the macro, and understand that this is happening. And we are 1,000% right about where digital assets go. And the value propositions may not be here yet for assets that we know have utility and interoperability mechanisms and that will function and disrupt and empower the legacy system and empower the masses and the people that are living across this globe that don't have access to financial services. It's only a matter of time, okay? And I love absolutely every single one of you. I hope you have a fantastic upcoming week. If there is news to present, I will try to present it. If not, I will be relaxing with my family as well. Take care, everybody. Cheers.